Ultimately, what comes to your mind when you think of the word phenomenon? In the late 90s, there was a Nike commercial that said, "And what if you asked God to make you the best football player in the world? And what if he really was listening?" After the end of the question, the letters disappeared from the TV screen, and as if by magic, the image of Ronaldo scoring a beautiful goal against the Compostela team appeared. Just by watching this commercial, you knew it was about a phenomenon, a spectacular player without technical deficiencies. He was as fast as a jet, finished with majesty, and dribbled as if his entire body were made of elastic, completely unpredictable. In fact, everyone knew. Imagine just how much he could have achieved in football if it weren't for his injuries and countless muscular problems. But in this video, we won't focus on that, even though at times we can't avoid mentioning it, that being his most faithful companion, the injuries. We'll focus on his genius and ability to overcome instead. For this boy, Ronaldo, he shocked the world with his talent. Still at 17 years old, he became the top scorer of the Campeonato Mineiro, and later he would go on to become the youngest player in history to win the award for the best player in the world, all at the age of just 20 years old. Just to give you an idea of how overwhelming Ronaldo's early career was. Cristiano Ronaldo at 21 had 36 goals scored in 182 matches played. Lionel Messi at 21 had 51 goals scored in 140 matches played. However, Ronaldo at 21 had 167 goals scored in 185 matches played. The difference is astounding. However, only God will be able to tell us how phenomenal his career would have been if it weren't for his countless injuries. Ronaldo Luis Nazario de Lima was born in Rio de Janeiro on September 22, 1976. Ronaldo grew up in a humble family in Bento Ribeiro, a suburb of Rio de Janeiro. Standing out in Rio de Janeiro's youth futsal with over 166 goals scored in just one season, Ronaldo nurtured his dream of playing for Flamengo, his beloved club known for producing great players for Brazilian and global football. His childhood idol was the legendary Zico, the greatest idol of the club he loved. Upon learning about a selection of 400 young players that Flamengo would hold, Ronaldo prepared himself and applied to participate, and he made it. However, his lack of money led him to decline Flamengo's call, as he couldn't afford to travel to the training sessions. That's when São Cristóvão appeared in his life. In the early training sessions, coach Roberto Gaglianone noticed he had a true talent on his hands. Unfortunately, he received financial support from the club to cover transportation costs to join São Cristóvão, thanks to the coach's support. There, he began to stand out and score goals between 1990 and 1993. Ronaldo started to be called up for the Brazilian under-17 national team, where he set a record of goals that no one has yet been able to beat: 59 goals in 57 games. He was only 16 years old. After standing out for São Cristóvão's professional team and the Brazilian national team's youth categories, Ronaldo quickly caught the attention of major Brazilian clubs at the time, such as Botafogo and São Paulo. But both clubs gave up on the negotiations as they couldn't reach a financial agreement to acquire the player. Then, in 1993, Cruzeiro spared no effort to have the star player and disbursed around $25,000 at the time. This amount was considered low even by the financial standards of that time, especially considering the magnitude of the player in question. His first game wearing Cruzeiro's jersey was in the Campeonato Mineiro against Caldense on May 25, 1993. His first goal would come months later in August against Belenense in Portugal in a series of friendlies the team played between the Mineiro and the Brazilian Championship. His standout performance in this international friendly tournament aroused the interest of several European clubs, mainly Inter Milan, who made an offer close to €500,000 if adjusted for current currency exchange rates. This would be the first of many attempts by Inter to acquire the Brazilian star. However, believe it or not, the Brazilian club rejected the offer because it was a lot of money invested in a player who hadn't even reached legal age yet. But as everyone expected, that skinny player began to stand out with the main team and gradually became the team's main player. He scored 12 goals in 14 games in the 1993 Campeonato Brasileiro. The following year, Ronaldo was a state champion with Cruzeiro, being the top scorer of the competition with 22 goals. In total, during his time at Cruzeiro, Ronaldo played 58 matches and scored 56 goals. These numbers were simply absurd for a player aged 16 to 17. His move to European football became inevitable, arousing the interest of Dutch giants PSV and Ajax, who were willing to take the Brazilian gem from Cruzeiro. Before establishing himself in Dutch lands, Ronaldo had another important commitment in his career, playing in the 1994 World Cup with Brazil. He participated in some friendlies before the final call-up, scoring some of the many goals he would score wearing Brazil's green and yellow jersey. Ronaldo impressed Carlos Alberto Pereira's coaching staff, and the new Brazilian gem secured his passport to go to the 1994 World Cup in the United States. Due to his young age, Ronaldo watched Brazil's fourth World Cup title from the bench. This would be his first major title as a football player. Just being part of the group of the greatest team on the planet and becoming a champion at the age of 17 was a unique and unforgettable experience that would help him throughout the rest of his career. The winner of this rivalry between Dutch clubs was PSV, as the club was looking for a replacement for Romario, who was the star player but had now joined Barcelona. Paying around $6 million to Cruzeiro, Ronaldo became the most valuable transfer in Brazilian football at that time. The Dutch were captivated by Ronaldo with his speed, technique, and skill with the ball. Ernie Brandt, assistant coach of PSV, spoke in an interview years later.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing. He seemed to be from another planet, a true phenomenon. Physically strong, extremely explosive with his bursts of speed, he didn't seem to be the age he was. It just seemed unreal.
In his first game wearing the PSV jersey, Ronaldo only needed 9 minutes to score his first goal on European soil. He practically didn't feel the effect of playing in Europe. He seemed to know every inch of those football fields on the old continent. In the second game, Ronaldo scored 2 goals, and in the third, he netted his first hat-trick in the Dutch club's loss to Bayer Leverkusen in the UEFA Cup. He scored 6 goals in his first 3 games wearing the Dutch club's jersey. Everyone was cautious when comparing the young player to Romario, who was the club's big idol and had left shortly before to play in Spain. But Ronaldo's meteoric start to his career at PSV left everyone excited about the athletes and the club's future. Ronaldo would finish his debut season in Europe with 35 goals in 36 games. Despite PSV finishing only in third place in the Dutch league that year, Ronaldo would end the year as the league's top scorer, with 30 goals, a difference of 12 more than the second-place player, young Patrick Kluivert, of rivals Ajax. In his second season with PSV, the phenomenon came back strong again. By mid-October, he had already scored 11 goals in 8 games. But it was at this moment that he began to deal with a problem that would haunt him throughout his career: knee problems. With knee pain, Ronaldo would return to play almost 30 days after the diagnosis. He returned in a brutal manner, scoring 8 goals in 5 matches. But once again, the phenomenon felt his knees. After an MRI scan, inflammation and calcification were detected in the knees, requiring surgical intervention. The procedure was performed, and caution was needed in the recovery process. Ronaldo, demonstrating immense willpower and an ability to bounce back, was nearly 100% recovered in less than 5 weeks. However, the coach at PSV at the time imposed a reserve role that the young talent did not appreciate. Even after winning the Dutch Cup, his dissatisfaction at the club grew, hinting at a desire to leave. After shining with remarkable performances for Brazil in the Atlanta Olympics, Ronaldo's face was already gracing the covers of the world's major sports magazines, where he was already hailed as one of the greatest forwards in world football at the time. It was then that Inter Milan and now Barcelona engaged in an intense battle to acquire the Brazilian player. In this contest, Barcelona's coach, Englishman Bob Robinson, was determined to have the Brazilian striker in his team. Ronaldo was captivated by the Catalan club and decided to give preference to the Blaugrana and follow in the footsteps of his idol and mentor, Romario. Ronaldo left the Dutch lands with incredible stats of 54 goals in 57 matches played. Ronaldinho arrived in Catalonia to have his best season in terms of goals, scoring 47 goals in 49 matches. He won the Spanish Super Cup, the Copa del Rey, and the UEFA Super Cup that season. To crown this magical year, Ronaldo was elected the best player in the world at just 20 years old. Until the day of this video's posting, he was the youngest player to win such an award. At the end of that year, everything seemed to be heading towards a contract renewal between Ronaldo and the Catalan club. However, at the last minute, Inter Milan finally signed their dream asset, who had been captivating Italians with his pure talent since his days at Cruzeiro. On July 25, 1997, after being revealed at Cruzeiro, standing out at PSV and gaining star status at Barcelona, Ronaldo, at the time known as Ronaldinho, arrived at Internazionale as the big signing of the transfer window. The club and Nerazzurri fans were mobilized, going crazy with Ronaldo's presentation in the number 10 shirt. The signing of Ronaldinho by Internazionale caught the football world by surprise, as the striker was fully adapted at Barcelona, being a top scorer and winning titles. Seizing an opportunity due to alleged disappointment from the Brazilian with President José Luis Núñez for not receiving a salary increase, the Italian club paid $32 million for the termination of his contract. Ronaldo played for Inter Milan between 1997 and 2002, completing 99 games and scoring 59 goals. With the Italian team, he won the UEFA Cup, now known as the Europa League, and also received the Ballon d'Or. As there was no FIFA The Best award, it was the prize given to the best player in the world at the time in 1997 and 2002. It was at Inter where he gained the nickname that would accompany him for the rest of his life, the Phenomenon. After arriving at the World Cup under great scrutiny due to his knee injuries, Ronaldo emerged as the standout player for Brazil in the tournament, scoring 8 goals in 7 matches. Following the drama of the defeat against France in the 1998 final, Ronaldo would cement his legacy in the 2002 World Cup final against Germany. He exorcised all his past demons, the painful loss to the French, the injuries, and all the doubts about his return to the field. In that final, Ronaldo solidified his name among the best and most brilliant players in the history of world football. He scored 2 goals against German goalkeeper Oliver Kahn, who had controversially been named the best player of the 2002 World Cup before the final had even been played. The world witnessed the rebirth of one of the greatest talents in football, a true phenomenon. Initially, Ronaldo offered himself to his former team, Barcelona. In crisis, the Catalan club couldn't afford the release clause. Real Madrid, their arch-rival, then came in and for €45 million took him on August 31, 2002, just as the deadline for registrations in the 2002-2003 season was expiring. Ronaldo made his debut for Real Madrid in a 5, one victory over Deportivo Alavés at the Santiago Bernabéu, starting his tenure at the club with 2 goals in Spanish football. The striker needed only 1 minute on the field to quickly score his first goal wearing the Spanish team's shirt. Other players like Zidane and Figo also scored 1 goal each in the match. Roberto Carlos provided 2 assists, one of them for Ronaldo's first goal. His time at the Merengues was remarkable. In total, the Brazilian player scored 104 goals in 177 games for Real Madrid. In the Spanish capital, he won the titles of the Intercontinental Cup, Spanish Super Cup, and La Liga twice, also being the top scorer in the 2003-2004 season. The phenomenon left the Spanish team during the 2006-2007 season due to disagreements with the then coach of the Madrid club, Fabio Capello. Due to this rupture, the Spanish royal club had to choose between the Italian coach and the Brazilian striker. The season was complicated for the phenomenon as he was coming off a bitter elimination in the quarter-finals of the 2006 World Cup in Germany against France. Although individually he had a good World Cup, finishing the tournament as the top scorer in World Cup history, a record that would only be surpassed in 2014 at the Brazil World Cup by German striker Miroslav Klose. The decision made by the Madrid club in favor of the Italian coach led the player to once again showcase his talent on the Italian fields in the city of Milan, but this time not with Inter, but with their local arch-rivals, the mighty Milan. Milan secured the return of the star to the city of Milan for a bargain price of 7.5 million euros, and the negotiation was formalized on January 18, 2007. Ronaldo was given the number 99 shirt, as the number 9 belonged to Filippo Inzaghi. There, Ronaldo felt completely at home, surrounded by his compatriots Kaká, Dida, Alexandre Pato, and Ricardo Oliveira. The Brazilian made his debut on February 11th, coming off the bench in the 63rd minute for Ricardo Oliveira in a 2-1 victory against Livorno. He scored his first goals for the Rossoneri on February 17th in a 4-3 away win against Siena in a Serie A match. At Milan, he let his hair grow again as a way to differentiate himself from his time at Inter Milan, where he had a closely shaved head. Over the years, after his brilliant career revival, Ronaldo faced criticism about his weight, mainly due to his frequent muscle injuries. The structure of the Rossoneri club allowed him to discover that he had hypothyroidism, which was the reason for his weight gain. Ronaldo underwent treatment for the problem and started the 2007-08 season 5.5 kilos lighter. The phenomenon also formed a trio with his compatriots Kaká and Alexandre Pato, called Kapa Ro. However, the promising season would end for him on February 13, 2008, in a match against Livorno. After replacing Alberto Gilardino in the second half, Ronaldo, in his first involvement in the game, ended up injuring himself while jumping, leaving the field in tears, reminiscent of the occasion when he injured his knee against Lazio in 2000. The 2007-08 season ended with Ronaldo sidelined and separated from Milan, which decided not to renew his contract. Thus, his melancholic participation in the Rossoneri club concluded with a mere 20 games and 9 goals scored. Upon his return to Brazil, Ronaldo sought out his beloved club once again, Flamengo, to undergo surgery and further recovery treatments. However, Flamengo once again saw the star player leave through the back door without being able to do anything about it. In December 2008, Corinthians shook up the transfer market with a signing that many considered impossible. Andrés Sanchez, president of Corinthians, announced the arrival of Ronaldo Fenomeno on December 9th. At the time, the player was recovering at Flamengo, his childhood club, but Flamengo never made an official offer. R9's arrival represented the beginning of a new era for the Sao Paulo-based club. In just over 2 years at Parque São Jorge, Ronaldo made significant contributions to titles and changes within Timão. However, in 2011, the team was eliminated in the pre-Libertadores stage by Tolima. The result generated a lot of pressure from the fans, with criticisms directed at various players and demands for Tita's resignation. With the dream of the Libertadores shattered, Ronaldo decided to end his career. Complaining of constant physical pain, R9 bid farewell to the football field in February 2011, putting an end to a career full of stories of overcoming challenges and achievements. Despite the premature exit in 2010, Ronaldo is still highly praised by fans, even being included in the club's Hall of Fame, which was recently inaugurated. The remarkable career of Ronaldo, the phenomenon, came to an end in 2011. With over 400 goals scored since his debut for Cruzeiro in 1993, he captivated the football world in clubs like PSV, Barcelona, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, and Milan. Despite knee injuries, Ronaldo demonstrated incredible resilience. His farewell, marked by tears, occurred in an emotional press conference. Thanks for sticking with us until now. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment on the game featuring the phenomenon that impacted you the most. Thank you.